Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cheers to 10 Years. I'm your host, CEO Amanda Ray, and I am joined by 17 Hats ambassador, 17 Hats member, Natalie Pluck. Thank you, Natalie, so much for joining me here.
Thank you for having me.
Before we dive into all of this, can you give me a little bit about you? What do you do? Where you're from? When did you join 17 Hats? Let's just dive into your details first.
Okay, so I'm a wedding and editorial photographer. I'm based in a very small seaside town in the northeast of England. It's close to Whitby or Newcastle for anyone who orient themselves. I have been a 17 Hats member since 2015.
That's amazing. So you've been here for basically almost the full 10 years. That's awesome. So let's dive into what was your business like before 17 Hats? How long have you been in business before you even found 17 Hats?
So I officially went full-time in my business in 2014 and it was chaotic. It started off small and then rapidly got out of control. I ended up with a huge client base for the following year, so for 2015. And I was terrified of it. And I desperately needed to find a way to manage that without losing my marbles, really.
How did you end up finding 17 Hats? Do you remember?
So I think that, and I could be wrong, you guys were at the Birmingham Photography Expo. I'm not sure, but I know that at the time I was looking at a lot of the competitors and I just came across 17 Hats or found the leaflet in my bag and was like, this one is the one that makes sense. I tried them all, and this one was the one that clicked with me and didn't confuse me and make me want to throw my laptop out the window.
I love that. Is that what drew you to 17 Hats, that it didn't confuse you? So it's kind of easy to use?
Yeah, it was so easy to get into it. I think because I started at such an early point as well. Building that database wasn't a big daunting task and putting all my clients in. It was exciting and it wasn't too techy. It was just a really easy entry point.
That actually makes my heart really happy because when we go to design things for 17 Hats and go to build upon the foundation we've already laid, we're always thinking that we want to make it easy to use, but still allow the depth of the functionality. So every time we go to design, how do we make this easy to use? And it might not be the easiest thing to use, right? Because some of the features are super advanced, but we really want to try to make it easy to use because otherwise it just becomes daunting. It becomes scary. It becomes all the things.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad that you felt that and joining at that time. Talk to me a little bit about the last 10 years of your business. Obviously, you've been a member of 17 Hats during this time. How has 17 Hats helped you through this last 10 years?
So over the last 10 years, I'd say I've probably had about 3 phases in my business of change. And honestly, 17 Hats has been fundamental in helping me in those 3 areas. So I started off chaotic. My weddings were kind of, I wouldn't say lower end, but a lower price point. So I had 50 a year, and it was a lot to deal with. So having 17 Hats there, so the thing I struggled with most in the beginning was just asking for money. It wasn't a monthly wage that was coming in. It was going, I'm going to provide this service. Can you please pay me? And having 17 Hats to just press a button to send that out without me having to overthink that made the world of difference.
I'm going to hold you right there because so many people are scared of this, right? To be like, I provide you with this wonderful service and then asking for that money and asking to be paid, writing that email, it scares people. So I love that you found kind of comfort there.
Yeah, for sure. And so that was the number one way I'd say it helped me out in that first phase of business where everything was a bit crazy. I wasn't quite sure exactly where I wanted to head. Then I had a bit of a think about how I wanted my business to go and I put my prices up and I just really wanted to focus on my brand and delivering the best experience I could for my clients. And in that respect, 17 Hats let me focus on my creativity. There was more features at that point, so I could automate things. It was kind of really game changing. I don't like admin. I'll be honest. That's been really helpful. And then the kind of third phase is the most recent one, where I've gone from building the brand that I really love and trying to deliver, constantly improve on this client experience. And on top of that, I decided to open a studio. So now I have mini sessions and things that I host monthly, all the things. So and it's just helping me manage that, really.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you made so many points here. I love how you've broken your business down in these 3 phases. I believe as a solopreneur, you do go through those different phases. It's kind of that getting yourself out there phase, and then you build upon that and you learn a little bit more, which revolutionizes your business even more. And then you take that to the next phase as well. Did you find that in those phases that different 17 Hats features were there to kind of help you and kind of move you along?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, when I discovered the workflows and automation, that was so helpful when I really wanted to focus on just the creative side and kind of set all of that in motion, which is still obviously helping me kind of not quite coast along, but coast along to the admin side. But more recently, the thing that's been super helpful is scheduling. Managing my studio is, honestly, I thought I was so stressed. I got the studio and I was kind of staring at a wall being like, what have I done? I don't know how to do this. And then I was like, I wonder if 17 Hats has anything to help me with this. So I had to look through and I was like, brilliant. Perfect.
Awesome. I love that. Online scheduling is, I feel like, a game changer in itself. Much like workflows, it just allows you to automate so much, giving you so much time back in your day, which is extremely helpful, especially when you're doing all the things, which it sounds like you're doing as well. Over the last 10 years, I love this question. I've asked everybody this question because I think it's so important, but mindset, right? I think mindset is such a valuable part of longevity in a business, and having kind of just getting your mind right for you to go on this journey through your small business journey. How have you dealt with mindset? How have you helped with pushing through the hard stuff? Talk to me a little bit about that.
So that's a really good question. And it's something that I think I'm still exploring. I think you have to evolve with your business and constantly push that. But I think for me, realizing that less is more and not having to do all of the things yourself is a huge thing. I think there's a big problem in our industry where looking busy and having this busyness mindset is seen as this really good thing. It's not healthy. So that's something that I'm recently coming to terms with and dealing with, and trying to shift my mindset into a more kind of slow, peaceful kind of way of doing things.
Yeah, busy doesn't mean you're successful. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people that are busy aren't successful because they're too busy being busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That they don't even have the time to do what they need to do to grow their business, which is really tough. I think that's a really important mindset to kind of pull out. Looking at yourself from when you started 10 years ago to who you are now, how do you think owning a business has changed you or has helped you grow as a person?
Mm-hmm. I think it's given me a lot more confidence in certain areas. I'm just very sure of certain things. I kind of take things a bit more as they come. I say I'm sure of things, and then the most uncertain thing will happen, and you just have to do it. And you just do. You just learn to trust yourself a lot more. Yeah, 10 years ago, I was frantic and petrified of everything. But at the same time, there was something liberating in not having all this knowledge and just doing. So you get to learn from all that. So yeah.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I am an introvert through and through.
So how is it? Do you mind talking about this a little bit? Because I get this question because I'm in the middle. Like, I'm an extrovert, obviously. I have a podcast. I'm talking to people all the time. But when I'm done talking to people, I need to go in my room of silence. Nobody talk to me. I need my time. I get this question a lot, is how do introverts do it? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm an introvert extrovert a little bit. I can't really answer that question. How have you had to push yourself out of that kind of comfort zone of being an introvert? How's that been for you?
It's been difficult. Some of it comes naturally through passion. Like, if you're passionate about something, there's something within you that will move you beyond that. When I have a camera in my hand and a brief, nothing could stop me.
I love
and
that.
it's a weird power that power sounds crazy. But yeah, it's a sense of confidence that comes over you that allows you to push through that. And don't get me wrong, after I've done that, I will just retreat back into myself, like you say, and sit in a room of silence, just deal with and process everything. But yeah, I think I just let the confidence and the creativity kind of drive me and push me through that.
I love that. There's a book called The Alter Ego, and it's about like when you are in that mode, right? If you're in the photographer mode, you just like you put on the Superman cap and or cape and you just do it, right? You just become that. And when you're at home with your children, you become that. And when you're with your spouse, you become that. And so it's a fascinating book because it really does talk a little bit about what you're saying here, right? When you get a camera in your hand, you're just you're confident, you know what you're doing, you're good in those shoes and you make it happen. And so I think that's such wise words to share. And I thank you for being so open to talk about this. You had no clue we were going to be talking about this. So I'm so sorry for putting you on the spot
No
here,
problem.
but I appreciate you sharing those words because that's amazing. When looking at 17 hats in your business as well, obviously online scheduling, let's talk a little bit about automation. How has automation helped you?
It's freed up just so much time and brain work. So before I would have spreadsheets, and every time someone contacted me or I needed to send out a questionnaire from a Word document, sometimes I'd receive that back in the post. So all of this is quite, a lengthy process. Whereas now I can schedule emails to go out, 6 weeks before the wedding date. They get the questionnaire, they send it back to me, they automatically get a thank you. That's all put into my system, and I know 3 weeks before the wedding I can check that through, book the final call, and it'll all be done, instead of me just frantically being like, have I spoken to them? Have I contacted them? I've got 15 to 20 couples this year. Like, who am I speaking to right now? And then new clients coming in. So just to have that whirring wind background, it's just giving me so much headspace.
That is amazing. I feel like automation is a huge key to a successful business because if you're constantly running around doing it all yourself, you're never going to have time to market or grow your business or network or do all of the things that need to do to get new clients and new business. That is really awesome. Before we wrap up, question for you. Somebody new into business, so somebody brand new coming into business, what advice would you share with them?
Oh my gosh, don't overthink it. Get yourself set up with something that will help you track clients. I mean, obviously 17 hats for me has absolutely been the one. And I have recommended that to friends who've also started up a business alongside me. I think you just need to get a good ground, solid ground, and then you can just do what you're passionate about. You can't focus on what you're passionate about and what you want to do in business if you're thinking about everything else. So don't overthink it and get grounded.
I love that. That is perfect advice for sure. Natalie, if they wanted to learn more about you or to see your work, where can they go to find you?
My website is nataliepluck.com. Pretty simple. And on Instagram, I'm Natalie_Pluck.
Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story, even taking all the kind of hot seat questions I've given you during our time together. But thank you for sharing the last 10 years with us. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for being a member and a 17 Hats ambassador. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for making my life a million times easier.
You are very welcome. And to everybody else, we'll see you next time. Thank you.